We do begin with this breaking news, a stolen vehicle pursuit. It's underway right now. Sky Fox bringing you a live look. This is Plummer Street and Van Nuys Boulevard in Panorama City right now. Again, stolen vehicle pursuit. Here's what we know so far. This started in Reseda. Again, currently in Panorama City. It's a silver Honda Civic. LAPD is the lead agency on this. So we're looking at speeds now into the 70s on surface streets in Panorama City, blowing through this intersection. Fortunately, not a lot of vehicles out this late at night. Thank goodness for that. Stolen vehicle pursuit. Unclear how many people are inside this silver Honda Civic down below. Of course, law enforcement always suspects that there are more than one, that there's beyond the suspect behind the wheel, passengers involved. They always assume that those people inside are armed. They brace for the worst, in other words. So we're now blowing by some of those vehicles that are on the road. Speeds, according to our extreme nav technology, okay, in the 60s. We have Tim Lynn, law enforcement specialist, on the line with me right now. Now we're getting a better look. You can see those tinted windows, Tim. What do we make of this stolen vehicle pursuit as we're seeing those speeds pick up?
Well, it's kind of staying in that Arleta, Pacoima area as it's working its way around. LAPD has gone into tracking mode where the helicopter is staying over the head, keeping the ground units advised of what the location on this vehicle is. But you can see the speeds are very fast on these streets. They're wide open at this point, but the problem with that is you still have cross traffic and the occasional pedestrian out on the road at this hour of the night. But for what we're hearing, this vehicle is displaying stolen plates, which means that the plates were taken off another vehicle and placed on this, and there is assumption now that the vehicle itself is stolen. So what that does is alert the officers to go figure out what is going on with the people in this car. It's not just a straight stolen that we normally see, but they are trying to conceal the identity of that vehicle by those stolen plates that are on there. So, but the speeds on this are up to 90 miles an hour here, rolling down Devonshire, and this is working its way back up into the Mission area, which will take it away from the more congested area of the 101 freeway and the 170 freeway that you have down a little further south. They're coming up on traffic here, and you see it's got red light making that right-hand turn, and that's what they've been doing. Most of this pursuit is when they come up to a red light, they'll make a right turn to keep from getting into cross traffic and then moving along. But LAPD now in tracking mode following this vehicle.
I'm not a Honda Civic expert, but Tim, this looks like a newer model. I mean, it's a nice looking vehicle here, and I'm glad you differentiated when you explained the stolen vehicle status. So literally plates from another vehicle were taken off another vehicle and put onto this one to conceal the identity?
Right. It's normally what we call a gold-plated vehicles. In other words, they put the plates on that belong to another vehicle. Now the owner noticed their plates missing, reported them stolen, and that's put into the stolen vehicle system to alert officers if they get in behind. And the information that we have heard is that those plates, as I said, are reported stolen, as is the vehicle. Now, I don't know how the police department came up with that information, but the way this person is driving, he is definitely, or he or she is definitely trying to get away from the officers. And you can see now that the night sun from the police helicopter has been shut off as well. So that means they're basically in that surveillance mode where they're trying to get this person to give up the run and pull over and just get out on foot. But we've seen it go both ways, to where they continue to drive at high rates of speed even though nobody's chasing them, there's no lights on them or anything of that sort. But other times we do get them to where they'll find an area where they feel they're safe and they have a place to run to, and they'll bail out and take off. And that's what the police department right now is hoping, because these speeds on the surface streets are way too high to be driving through here, because it's eventually going to run out of luck as they go through these intersections on these changing lights. And also you have the cross traffic from the cross streets and driveways that go in here, wrong side of the street as we continue on. So doing everything they can to protect the motoring public out there, but trying to also take this person into custody.
Yeah, this is a school zone. You can see that from the markings down below there. obviously no school in session right now. That's the silver lining, though, is that it is late at night. There's not a lot of traffic out there, but of course this could turn deadly very easily as we blow through intersections here. You mentioned the night sun that we're not seeing from above anymore, and we haven't seen any flashing lights. So now that it is in that surveillance tracking mode, explain to folks at home what that means, because essentially it means they're backing off because it is that dangerous.
Correct. The watch commander watching this pursuit will make that determination, as well as the supervisor who is nearby watching it. If it gets too dangerous, they will go into surveillance mode. What that means is the helicopter that's overhead, that you see going up on slower traffic, the helicopter that's overhead, the tactical flight officer will now just call the locations of the vehicle, call it just like a normal pursuit, but will not use a night sun down on that vehicle to alert the driver that they're being watched. They'll climb to a higher altitude and usually go onto their infrared camera, thermal imaging camera, to keep an eye on them at that point, and it's a little bit easier to follow. Also, their tracking system with the map will give them the exact location of where this car is, so they can relay that to the ground units. Now, the ground units, by policy, once the determination is to go into surveillance mode or tracking mode, you see what it does. He makes that right turn on that red light. Same thing he's been doing all night. Once that determination has been done on the surveillance mode, those ground units will stay out of the way. They'll do their best to not to engage, not to get in the way. They might see them block an intersection just to alert people that something is coming, make everybody stop, and then but stay completely out of it, but be available and close enough to when this person does stop the car and go to foot, they're able to surround the area, set up a perimeter, and try to take that person into custody. But what they do not want to get involved in re-engaging in the pursuit unless the watch commander authorizes that.
We're speeds now in the 50s just because we're coming up on this intersection, but mind you, it's been more like 70 miles per hour or so, or above. I mean, we've seen it hit 90 plus miles per hour. We're in the Pacoima area. This is all thanks to our extreme nav technology. Laurel Canyon Boulevard is what we're on right now. This started in Reseda. Do you have a timestamp on when this started, Tim?
It started just about 15 minutes ago.
Okay.
It first was called out, so it hasn't been going that long, but it's been going very fast, but staying in the same general area of Arleta, Pacoima, going a little bit south into Van Nuys and back up into the Mission area, but back now into the Pacoima area, running Van Nuys Boulevard. We've been on Van Nuys Boulevard several times, both directions, and this will work right around the 118 freeway, which I believe he just went under, and then back around and staying up towards Silmar as we're heading that direction now. So now you see it's dropping over into the Arleta area. So it's all in the same neighborhood. So probably this person feels comfortable being in this area and going to stick here because maybe they know the streets, they know the area, and they're trying to get that distance to where they feel safe enough to get out of the car and run into the darkness and maybe get to a place of safety where they think they can conceal themselves very quickly. But that helicopter is overhead with that thermal imager, and we'll be able to track them wherever they go.
Yeah, I mean, that's one of the tricks of surveillance mode, right? The idea is that the suspect thinks that they are maybe in the clear to pull over, make a run for it, when sure enough they are still being tracked by units above and below. So we'll see what happens here. We talk about how do we bring these things to an end as we're now in the Panorama City area, which is where we brought you this when we jumped on the air at the top of the 11. How to bring this thing to an end. Obviously, there's no ground units right behind them. We would talk about potentially a pit maneuver. Obviously, speeds are way too high for that. Spike strips is an option, and then oftentimes they wait it out and see if this person will just get tired of going in circles. We also have seen instances, Tim, where the suspect is on the phone with somebody and they're coordinating a getaway. We've seen that happen multiple times as we're coming up on this intersection, Nordhoff and Van Nuys Boulevard, Panorama City. Speeds quickly rising right now. There are just so many scenarios that we've seen play out. It's hard to tell how this one is going to end, Tim.
Exactly, and you just have to be flexible with this pursuit react when the suspect actually does something at the end. As you mentioned, yeah, the handoffs where they get up under a freeway and they'll switch off into another vehicle, or they'll jump out of this vehicle and dive into another one in just mid block and then take off the other direction. But they do their best to try to fool the officers in the air, because that's who's over them now. I'm sure they know that they're there. They try their best to stay behind where the driver doesn't see them, but it's not always possible. But if this person continues on, now when we were just talking here, the driver has gone through 3 red lights solid mid-phase. So it's ramping it up a little bit to where they may get a little more aggressive, because obviously their surveillance mode isn't working. And this driver is still driving very recklessly right there, just going through a stop sign, going through a major street there. So that could have been, very deadly right there as they go through, because that vehicle coming along, not understanding that this car is not going to stop, and you see the LAPD helicopter going through, and now coming in and working now in this neighborhood. So this could be coming to an end here pretty quickly, because it looks like they're staying off the majors and now into small residential areas.
Which is even scarier.
Yeah, because they have pedestrians, you have people out walking their dogs this time of night. You could have kids out at this time of night, in the street, not expecting anybody to come ripping through. But LAPD has to weigh all the options and try to make the decision versus risk versus reward. Is the risk worth the reward of catching this person, or is the risk too high to put yourself out there for a stolen vehicle? But the only thing that kind of ramps this one up a little bit higher than your normal stolen, once again, is that cold-plated stolen license plates on this vehicle. And so you don't know what they use this vehicle for. It could have been used in another crime that hasn't been reported, or they don't know about. But there's obviously some extra work done here to conceal the identity of this vehicle and possibly the owner. But going to these real tight streets now is
very tight.
Panorama City. There's a good chance, like I said, that it's going to come to a stop. You see those bumps there that they put in. That's the neighborhood will put those in to keep the speeds down, just leaping right over them at 45 miles an hour, which they're not designed for. So hopefully he damaged the vehicle right there, almost. Yeah, it was really close coming through there.
Kester Avenue and Parthenia Street in Panorama City. So speeds, whenever he gets a chance or she gets a chance, if there's an open roadway, you'll see those speeds pick up to 60 miles per hour on certainly a street that's not designed for that, with those speed humps, etc. We did turn the lights off, didn't we?
Yeah, the driving lights are off, but the daytime running lights are off. So right now it's trying to black out, and probably going to catch curb here.
We're in a cul-de-sac. We're in a cul-de-sac. We've seen this happen before. My thought was this person. It's garbage. Yeah, the trash can's out. I don't think I've seen that in all the years I've been covering pursuits. I haven't seen the recycling bins and the trash bins take out a pursuit suspect. So now we understand the driver is making a run for it. It's hard to see because we don't have the night sun on it down below. I can see a figure, I think so, underneath the trees. I'm sure you at home are having a difficult time as well seeing that person, but according to what we're hearing, the driver did make a run for it. This cul-de-sac area, Broadmoor Street and Kester Avenue and Panorama City, we're hearing that it could be a female suspect. We'll see what comes of that description. Sky Fox trying to figure out if we can get eyes on the suspect making a run for it. See some of that activity. That's hard to make that out. Is that some?
Yeah, it could be somebody with a cell phone. Could be somebody on a bicycle.
Yeah.
But
all right, Tim. What do you think in this situation?
Well, right now, it kind of looks like maybe the passenger or the driver has gotten out, is now on a cell phone and turned on their light because it's so dark down there. Now, there's the night sun from the police, and I tell you, the police helicopter had that person on camera the whole time, and is going to keep watching.
There we go.
Here comes the officers. Yep.
Yeah, they've moved in quickly.
That's what I said. They stay in the area close enough to get in there as quickly as possible to take them into custody. And this person just thought they could walk away from this and just blend in. But unfortunately, at this time of night on a residential street, it's a little tough to blend in because there's nothing there.
Right.
And hopefully calling for a ride to get out. So luckily it came to an end here with nobody hurt and just some trash cans knocked over. It could have been a lot worse with the speed that they were running, but officers are running for some reason.
Oh, yes. Interesting observation there. So we do have, it looks to be a female suspect in custody at the end of this stolen vehicle pursuit. We brought it to you in Panorama City. It is coming to an end in Panorama City, brought to an end after the suspect drove into some trash and recycling bins at a cul-de-sac. Don't think anyone has been hurt, but again, we'll have to learn more about that stolen vehicle. And the foot bail, officers moved in quickly, getting this suspect into handcuffs. Police expert Tim Lynn, we're going to wrap things up right there, and we thank you so much for hopping on tonight on Good Night LA.
Marlo, have a great evening. Good night.
You too.